Roll call, Mayor Garrett.
Here. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in Lathrup. I'm in Lathrup Village, Oakland County, Michigan.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Here in Lathrup Village, Oakland County, Michigan.
Thank you. Councilmember Ferguson.
Present. Lathrop Village, Oakland County, Michigan.
Councilmember Medley.
Present. Lathrop Village, Oakland, Michigan, or Oakland County, Michigan.
Thank you. And Councilmember Siddiqui.
Here, Lathrop Village, Oakland County, Michigan.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. So, well, the first one was the discussion item, but it's still like big time feedback for me.
Bruce, can you mute?
I can hear.
Can you
Right,
mute?
you're not on mute.
It's being picked up.
Ian, can you hear me?
I can, yes. I can, yes.
Oh, that's better. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Well, no,
Yep.
it's not.
I have feedback, actually.
Yeah, but take those off because it's going through the.
But I can't hear him.
Can
I
you hear
can't hear
me?
Ian.
Can you hear me?
You'll get feedback.
Can you
I
hear
want
me?
you to hear it so you hear what I'm hearing. It's deafening. Are you pleasing?
I believe it.
Well, okay. We're just gonna do this. Okay. So this is the logistics for the hybrid meeting. This is gonna be where some are Zoom and some are in person. Right now, it is me and Bruce Cantor and Dawn Medley.
Yep.
Medley.
Yep.
From council that's in chambers, along with our city attorney, city administrator. And what is your title again?
I'm the
Are you
Community and Academic Development Director.
Oh, but you're not. Oh, you are on there. Okay, so these are all the people that's here, and so Salim and Ian are virtual, and we have it set up in the community room, in the meeting room also. And then when it comes to public comment, what's going to happen is Corey is going to get 3 people at a time
Yes.
to bring them in. They have, once we get into the meeting, for the meeting portion, the first one is going to be where you have, let's see, the public comment.
Minutes, is that what you're thinking? Is it,
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I don't see the public comment. That's at the end.
public hearing?
Yeah, public comment.
There's a couple different ones. There's
Okay, where-
the
I don't see
first
that.
one is, oh, it's there, don't worry. The first one is 10,
Oh, 10 right there.
item 10, and that's the,
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So sorry. So, yeah, the first one is going to be anything that's on the agenda, and the speakers have up to 3 minutes to speak. And then there'll be a public hearing for the ditch repair on Cambridge. And then there will be a public hearing, or excuse me, public comment at the end for anything that was not on the agenda. And so you have an option. The audience has an audience, I'm sorry, because I can hear myself. That's why I'm stuttering, because I can hear myself. The audience has an option to speak not only during the study session, but also to speak during the meeting, right? Okay, so that's the meeting logistics. So we're gonna move on to agenda items for the council. Is there anything that's on the agenda that you would like to discuss ahead of time?
Madam
One
Mayor.
thing on logistics with respect to the chat function, if it's not disabled, it's only going to be available during the public comment section. So anything placed in the chat during the course of the meeting is not going to be allowed.
Okay.
If that was done in person, it would be disruptive and that individual would be asked to remove themselves from the meeting.
Okay. Oh, and then also, thank you for saying that. When it comes to the public comments, that's what it is. It is a public comment, and it's not feedback back and forth with the council. So we hear what your comments are, and this is for everybody, not just for you, sir. But we hear what your comments are, and then at the end, we have mayor and council comments. That's when they'll be responding. So it's not dialogue. It's really to give your opinion or your.
Do I get to ask questions?
You can, and they're going to answer them at the end. Just
Oh,
okay.
you ready?
No, not yet. I was just giving. We're doing meeting logistics.
All right.
Yeah. I'm going to repeat it again.
Yeah, he's here for study session.
Okay, sweet.
Comments,
Okay.
so that's all.
So, but back to the agenda items. Is there anyone on council that has any questions or wants to bring up anything for what's on the agenda tonight?
Yeah, just a question regarding vacating the alley that's on the agenda. So are we going to adjourn the council meeting first and then go into a call to order another meeting? Is that how it will be done tonight? Or I can't hear you, Bruce. Sorry.
It's a council vote. It's not zoning. You're mixing up the variance request that was to the ZBA at the last meeting with the vacation
Gotcha.
request.
Okay, got it. All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Anything else that's on the agenda?
Mayor, I just want to mention to you that what was in the original agenda packet that was mailed out did not include the updated ordinance for the general marijuana ordinance. So the updated ordinance is in front of you, and it is the one that's posted on the website, on the Municode. Yes. And the memo that was emailed and is in the agenda packet identifies the main items that were, yes.
This
I did have one.
I did have one question with respect to section 18-288, which was the license application evaluation. Item C, section B. I'll wait for everybody to get a chance to get there.
Say section 18.
18-288.
Yep. Got it.
Item C,
C.
subpoint B.
What's the page? Is it page 12, Bruce?
On
Page 10.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
got three different copies of the ordinance. Page, on that one, it's page 12 at the top, item B. So it says any application receiving less than 80%. I thought we said 85%. Was that
Yep.
changed or was that just, you didn't change that, did you? Or?
It was originally 75%, and it was
Change it to 80%, but we can change it to 85%.
Yeah, I think in the prior meeting, we had said 85%. Does anybody else remember that?
I remember that.
So we'll have to make that comment in the motion, I assume. And then, yeah, so we talked earlier about the one license for a co-located. That seemed to make sense, but you might want to, for the rest of them, explain that, Scott.
Yeah, let me unmute myself. So we're just going to highlight a couple of the changes that were done between the first reading and the second reading. One of the bigger changes in it, and we'll go through page by page here because we have some time, deals with the initial application period. That's on page 9. Previously, the city would accept applications over a 30-day period as established by the city administrator. That has been changed to as established by resolution of the city council after the effective date of this article. So what this means is that if this ordinance is moved forward tonight, the application period won't open up upon the effective date. It will only be open after city council passes a separate resolution, which is not on tonight's agenda. It hasn't been drafted yet. If only after city council establishes a separate resolution establishing the time period for receiving those applications. That was a significant change from the first reading. And then, yes, with respect to the license limits on page 13, it did come up after the first reading last meeting that there was some confusion. My understanding was that there were only to be 2 licenses regardless of whether they were medical or recreational. What this clarified language does is it allows for 2 facilities total, no more than 2 facilities. In those 2 facilities, they potentially could have both recreational and medical marijuana. So it does allow for the city to issue both a medical and a recreational inside the same co-located facility.
But no more than 2 storefronts.
But no more than 2 storefronts, correct. 2 physical locations tops. And in the event they are co-located, it would be those licenses, both would be required to apply for both licenses. Those licenses could be consolidated into one co-located license.
Can you explain for the rest of them why we said that instead of the, I mean, in our last meeting, we talked about the possibility in those co-located situations of having two $5,000 fees, one for medical, one for
Recreation.
I could want to say residential. What's the
Recreational.
Recreation.
You guys hear me?
Because I realize my microphone's been off. So.
As a reminder, keep your own computers muted when you speak and it'll pick up the mic.
Well, I don't have a shirt microphone.
Yeah, Scott, we can still hear you.
Yeah. You know,
We can hear you without the feedback.
I can share.
Ian, were you able to hear my explanation?
Yeah, I heard everything.
Okay, so that's fine. Then I'll just.
My microphone muted and someone else can pick me up.
Yeah, I can hear you right now.
So to answer Bruce's question as to why we did it this way, because the city would only, if it was purely a recreational, or I'm sorry, if it was purely a medical facility, that product is not taxed. There's no excise tax. There's no sharing of that tax with the state, the county, or the city. So if it's purely a medical facility, there would be nothing beyond the application fee that would in essence be able to support all the additional costs that are going to go into the city, are going to be responsibility of the city as far as policing and maintaining inspections. So the desire is and was to, if these facilities are allowed, would be to have recreational facilities, which in addition to the licensing fee, which the licensing fee covers it's a very extensive application process, inspection process. Those fees that's not revenue. Those are covering the cost of processing that application. And that's actually probably a little low considering the amount of work that's going to be involved in processing each application. So the only revenue that the city would realize would be from the tax from recreational cannabis. So if we ended up with 2 medicinal facilities, there would be nothing to support the added cost to the city, and that was not the desire of the council. And then I don't think anything else changed in here, and Joe, remind me if I missed something, but I don't believe anything else changed after the first reading other than those 2. The only other thing, excuse me, I did change. Previously, it had said city manager versus city administrator. So that was just a title amendment. So.
Okay. Sorry, guys, I'm still trying to get it. Anything else? Ian, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Anything else that the council would like to discuss that's on the agenda tonight? Anyone? Okay, hearing none, then we're going to move on to the, well, I guess it's mayor and council comments, but I'm going to flip it if everybody's okay with that. You good with that? Yes?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
We have a question in the chat.
Oh, we're not doing the chats right now, right?
Are you opening up the public comment?
That's what I'm trying to get to that in just a second. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the public comments first, and then we're gonna do the mayor and council comments after all the public comments for the study session. So after we are gonna go with the people that are in person first. Is that what we decided? People in council chambers first, then we're gonna go to Zoom, and then I don't think any of the things that I need to read are in for study session. I think that's for the council meeting. So, yes. Everybody sounds good for that? That's a yes, okay. So sir,
Okay.
announce your name and.
Can I take this down or?
Yes, you may.
All right, my
Are you
name's
fully
Robert
vaccinated?
Brim. Robert Brim. I live in Lathrup Village for 35 years. And I'd like to address the mayor and the city council and the attorney. And, you know, my wife and I have both read over your information online. And first I'd like to say, and you could answer this question, or it's a statement, but how you feel about it. And the statement is the purpose of government is to service the people in the city. Now, I read your some of your information about why you came to this decision. It was, you said you had a 60-some% vote. Now, what year was that vote? I don't remember the vote. But you said you had 60% of the vote that voted to legalize marijuana. But that doesn't mean that 60-some% of the people, the residents of this city, want you to sell it in this city. They just don't want their children going to jail for having a bag of pot. Now, how you phrase a question when you have a vote makes all the difference in what kind of answer you get. That's number one. Number two, I see absolutely nothing that services the needs in this marijuana proposal for any citizen in this city. The majority of these people are older citizens. They don't need to run down at midnight to get a bag of pot. I personally have never smoked. I don't do drugs. I never did drugs. So that's the way that is. I don't believe in them. I don't think anybody needs them. So the only people that seem to be benefiting from my reading of what you wrote there online was the city itself, the members of this council, the building, whatever this government, it's all the benefit is to the government, not to the people. It's the exact opposite of the purpose of government. The purpose of government is not to service the government. But unfortunately, we are living in a time where the government seems to feel that it's the king. It's not a king. It serves the people. And I would like to say that the city is spending money on things that are, to me, ridiculous. Bicycle signs. I got a bicycle. I don't need a sign to tell me where to go. The sewers are plugged up. Nobody's fixing the sewer. There's water in every ditch up and down where I walk every day. The sidewalks are a good thing. But this marijuana thing is not going to serve anybody in this city. It's not going to benefit anybody. And for me personally, you know, I have an open, empty store in back of my house. Now, I know that you'll probably try to think about putting that little sucker right there in back of my house. And I personally, I will seek court action of some kind or another if you put one in back of my house.
Well,
I'm just going to tell you.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second. Was anybody doing any timing?
Yes, I was, and we're at 3.5 minutes.
Okay, so.
So are you giving me 3 minutes?
Yeah, it was 3 minutes. But one thing that I am going to jump in there is that the city did not spend money on the bikes. So we kind of address that, and I'm going to on the bike signs in the path. So that would not be correct. Okay.
Then I'll give you that one. But the point is.
Thank you.
Okay. Respectfully, I'll give you that one.
Okay.
But you know, How many people here are gonna benefit from the personal use of marijuana? That's a question.
So I'm also going to say that, I mean, what our personal feelings are for it, which I'm only speaking for myself. For me, there is no benefit for it, but I'm also speaking out of line. I don't know what their benefit's going to be, but it doesn't benefit us per se individually,
Well,
you know,
when I
and
read your article online, it seems like you people are all excited about it.
so that's an assumption because I would say that this is a very, I can honestly say that this is keeping us up at night. And I wouldn't say there's excitement. I think that would be the most opposite thing to say.
Well,
But I really just wanted to correct you about the bike signs because then I have all the other
No,
stuff that
that's
I'm
all
gonna.
right. I'm all right with that. I'm
Okay.
telling you that I go and I walk around the neighborhood every night. My wife and I go around the whole neighborhood and I speak to everybody that I can speak to. And I'm just gonna tell you personally, I haven't found anybody that thinks this is a good idea.
Well, I appreciate you.
These stores are minimal of from the people's houses all up and down Southfield Road on both sides of the road. And you're gonna have people out there smoking marijuana. They're gonna go down to the park and light up. It's like, this is Amsterdam, okay? And that was a bad decision for Holland. Okay, it just was. The people in Holland don't even go to Amsterdam anymore, okay? So you're not creating some nirvana here. I'm just telling you this, it's a nightmare. It's gonna be a nightmare for the police. Southfield didn't pass this resolution, I don't think. That's my
Yes, it did.
understanding.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
All right,
Well,
and
that's-
so, and I'm sorry, and it's my fault that I mean, one thing, and let me pause because I say I got questions here and one, someone else is supposed to be doing the time, so you don't have to worry about it any longer. Two, and I'm sorry for not saying this ahead of time because I'm also saying this to Lainey that's in the audience, that if there is something that we can correct immediately, I do have the to be able to jump in and like with the bike thing to be able to say, and no, I'm not to you, I'm answering someone that's is question. And who is presiding would be me. I am the mayor, so I'm actually kind of keeping the roll call or the structure, the order of the meeting. So Lainey, I hope that answered your question. You can send another chat to me and I can take care of that.
Right.
Mr. Brim, thank you for coming in. I
All right,
appreciate it, and your comments are duly noted.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mine popped up, but it didn't go away.
So go to Q&A. Is
Oh,
there
here, the guy
anyone
here.
else that is commenting during the study session? And while we're waiting for that, I will reiterate this again, and I think that I'm saying this for all council too. If there's something that needs to be corrected, and we have the answer exactly right then and there in, you know, facts, then I will jump in and I will say something regarding that. There is some order here, believe it or not, but also this is why we're doing this during the study session to figure out exactly how we're doing this hybrid meeting. So Corey's checking to see if anyone else is here to speak live, and then we'll go into the chat, but I don't think that we have any in chat. Anyone?
I don't see anything in chat other than Lainey's questions. So I think those are answered.
There are no hands raised.
Awesome. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kelda.
There are no hands raised at this time.
And then also going back to the first question, do you see that, Scott? The first question from Lainey?
Yeah, I do. I think that's a good point. I think utilizing the question and answer function keeps it a little more organized. So I would recommend that we utilize that as opposed to just the chat function.
Okay, so Kelda, if you can look at both the Q&A and the chat, or we want to just say your questions are going to the Q&A?
Just the Q&A.
Okay, so if you have questions or you have comments, you can just put it in the Q&A. Thank you, Lainey, for bringing that to our attention. And I did already answer. I am presiding over this, so that is also done. Okay.
Robert's Rules of Order.
So Madam
Okay,
Mayor, you do
is there-
have one hand raised at this time.
In the chat, I don't see any in the Q&A, and we don't have anyone here.
There's one hand raised.
Oh, I didn't even see this one. Okay.
Where's that?
Kim Fay. I'm unmuting your
Okay,
line.
are we still talking about marijuana or can we move on to another topic?
I think we can move on to another topic, but, and we're gonna start. I can't hear her though. I'll tell you right now.
I got it.
Go.
Go ahead, you're
Yeah.
timing me. I'm here to speak about regarding the special assessment for the Cambridge ditch and sidewalk repair. There seems to be some general ambiguity as to the actual work being proposed. And I've got some questions too. If this work is not approved, does that mean the road will not be resurfaced? My property and several others do not have a drainage issue, so I don't know why we're repairing something that currently works. In fact, 2 days ago, when we got all that rain, I mean, my ditches were full, but then within a couple hours, it drained right off, so it doesn't overflow into the street. And my adjacent neighbors are the same. I have concerns about the timing of the project. Due to that we are still in a pandemic where disrupted supply lines have increased the cost of materials and labor by an estimated 200%. Can this project be tabled until costs stabilize? Is this proposed system the only solution, or are there other options that can address the drainage? And then I have all kinds of questions about if it's approved, how are we going to pay for this? Is it coming in taxes? If it's installments, are there interest rates? What happens if I sell my home before the full amount is paid off? What happens to all the trees? I just believe that the residents on Cambridge require detailed information on the proposed system, along with other options, so that we can come up with a solution that both addresses the drainage and is also cost efficient.
Thank you. I'm gonna actually hand that over to Bruce.
Okay, well, I guess, Scott, I'm assuming, am I on mute?
You gotta mute your.
We can hear you.
Pick it up.
We can hear you.
Sorry.
Yeah, so question for you, Scott. I mean, I think one of the suggestions we should make to Ms. Fay is to make those comments during the public hearing for the assessment. Yeah, so you'll probably want to repeat that at the council meeting during the actual public hearing, but I can address one or possibly a couple of those questions. The reason why this is happening is because the drainage, as you stated, I know it's not bad in front of your home, but it is it's horrible on the street in general. And that street is scheduled to be repaved next summer. And the problem with repaving a street that has ditching that doesn't work is that the water seeps underneath the road, and it degrades the road from underneath, in addition to the degradation that will take place from the top side. So it shortens the life of the road. Now, typically it's around 10%. But when you have a situation like Cambridge where the drainage is so bad, it's probably going to be even a higher percentage. And so basically what that means is that as fiduciaries for the city, we're going to be spending tax dollars that we're essentially going to be throwing down, well, I don't want to say down the drain. It's an unintended pun. But I mean, 10% at a minimum of those dollars that we put towards that project are essentially going to be wasted. And we can't do that as fiduciaries for the city. So in situations, the recommendation that was made to council and was accepted by council indicates that the ditches need to be fixed on the streets that are being repaved. And in situations like Cambridge, where there aren't simple fixes, the residents would need to pay for that through a special assessment. If the residents turn down the special assessment, then that street will not be paved, and we'll go back. It'll basically drop to the end of the paving list. And given that we only have enough money in the existing project to pave 7 miles, and then we go back to the way it was before at that point where we were paving about 0.3 miles of road a year, it's going to be a very, very long time before that opportunity will come up again. What were some of the other questions? I didn't catch them all.
With respect to the special assessment repayment, there were a couple of questions.
If she sells her house.
Yeah, if you sell your house, the balance of the special assessment would come due.
It's a 10-year.
It's a 10-year special assessment, so 1/10 each year. Now, is there a finance charge? I don't remember if they do
There
that.
was an amount applied. I don't recall that dollar amount off the top of my head.
Okay,
It was a relatively minor amount that's applied
okay.
for an administrative fee.
With other questions? I mean, I guess the other questions we can address as part of the public hearing, which is really the more appropriate place to talk about that as versus the study session.
So Kim, or Ms. Fay, excuse me, I'm so
Yes,
sorry.
yes, ma'am.
We're gonna have the public hearing. Are you gonna be able to hang around to bring up these concerns at that time
Yes,
again?
ma'am, I can.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else? I'm trying to look at the hand. I'm trying to look at the chat, trying to.
I don't see anyone.
There are no hands.
Okay, so I'll just open it up to the council. If council has any comments, anything that was said or following up. What? Well, I don't have anything to say either.
19-minute break.
Okay, well then I'm gonna call it. Then I'm going to adjourn us and we'll meet at a different Zoom login at 7 o'clock. Okay, we're adjourned.